A sound soul dwells within a sound mind and a sound body. That sentence really suits the series. It really goes for it. This is Sullivan asking you my latest web video review of the anime Soul Eater. This anime is very popular and widely known. Started off, the manga itself started out in 2006, which is a very long history. So it ended like last month. The manga itself ended last month, and the anime itself was made later in 2008. It gained widely over 51 episodes. That means it was at least on for half a year, at least a year, because that gained a lot of popularity. Over a year, the popularity itself is very widely dispersed. I mean, right now it's playing widely on Adult Swim on Cartoon Network on Saturday nights in the middle of the night at 1 a.m. It starts off as you read the narration into the middle of the story. It starts off with the myriad of good and bad souls. Like, there are some souls that are normal, human souls always for peace, but there are some souls that lost their way. For example, Kishins are really human souls that are twisted, lost their sense of direction themselves, and they're evil souls. They committed crimes, acts of sedition, and themselves like very violent, right? But there are some who are willing to fight these evils. There's the Meister of the DWMA, Death Weapon Meister Academy. The end itself is pretty epic. I mean, you have your main characters. You have Maka Albarn and her partner Soul Eater, who's basically a scythe. She's a scythe meister, and then there's this dark assassin Black Star and his dark weapon Tsubaki, who can change into virtually almost every kind of ninja tool. And then there's Death the Kid, who's the son of the Grim Reaper Death himself, and his two partner pistols, Liz and Patty, the Thompson sisters. The story itself is a very fantasy animation and storyline. It's all original and it's very and it gets you going and it makes you want more. You see, this story itself is about preserving balance in the world of souls, and also keeping the peace. You see, in that world, in their world, the energy of two beings can be used to combine to make themselves stronger. For example, the weapon of the Meister. There's the Meister. Let's start on Maka. Like, imagine a person who could transform into a weapon. That's Soul Eater. And then there's the Meister who holds it. That's Maka. Imagine two beings literally coming together to form a united partnership. One is a weapon, one holding the weapon. That's what you get from this series. Like, two people cooperating, combining their energies into one, and becoming one strong team. That's what you get from this anime: cooperation and also a little bit of understanding. But there are also some juicy parts. I mean, this story itself can also get very action-packed. I mean, per episode. This show is a fantasy anime, and it also gets action in it from time to time. I mean, right now it's so widely popular. It's been around for years on Anime Network. Means it's very wide in popularity. I mean, it's even playing now on Adult Swim, and like up to at least episode 29, and they got at least another 22 episodes to go. There's at least 50 episodes in this series. It's gained widely popularity, and people know of this. People expected this show, and they enjoyed its coming. For Never Will, 77. Any anime fan who's at least watched it. I mean, I've seen the series. I've seen most of the episodes online before most people, and it's very hot, and I really enjoy this anime. This story itself is about maintaining balance, but there are some who can stop balance. You see, there are some evil souls that you can't fight alone. For example, there are witch souls. There are witches in this series, like Medusa, like for example, witches that control snakes, frogs, rats, like shape-shifting, like they even disguise themselves as human if they want to, like a magic protect spell called Soul Protect. I'm going to remove some of the details so you can understand the series, but I'm also not spoiling most of it for you, because those of you who know what I'm talking about, then you know what I'm talking about. Those of you who don't, then you don't. I mean, also the characters are original. I mean, you have this, and Maka herself is very calm and control. She's that she stands in charge. Like, you can say she's the leader of the bunch. Then there's her partner, Sully. Sometimes he can be rough around the edges, but he is loyal to his master and will always protect his master. I mean, he got himself hurt for that. Then there's the others. There's the dark assassin, Black Star, who basically wants to be an assassin. This ultimate person who wants to surpass God, but this guy is extremely self-centered and wild. He doesn't pay attention. Half the time when he attacks, he barely knows how to handle himself. He barely knows how to handle himself. The only one who keeps him on the raft is Tsubaki. His weapon, you can transform into virtually almost different weapons for ninja fighting and assassin tools. I've actually a weapon with 2 blades at the end of it, with a long chain. You can basically like nunchucks, but that has knives at the end of it. You can hurl at the enemy, small blades, bombs, ninja shuriken, windmill attacks. That's what you get from her. She's what you call a calm character, and I like her a little bit because she's what you call a calm character. She keeps her cool and isn't afraid to help any situation. I like her too. Then there's Death the Kid. He's a kid that's all about certainty. They should be perfectly balanced. If there's a shelf with seven objects on it, that's wrong. There should be at least 8. It's perfectly symmetrical. You can't cut 7 in half. Only 8 in half. That way it'll become 2 circles. This guy is all about symmetry. They should be counterbalanced. Be 4 on the left, 4 on the right. Right. If there's one missing, it all go crazy. If the painting on the side is tilted, he will tilt it. Like, I'm a disgrace. He's just a whiny baby. And then there's the Thompson sisters, Liz and Patty. Liz is the older one. Patty's the younger one. Patty herself is what you call the funny girl. Like, kind of like a girl that ain't afraid to laugh in a situation where it gets funny. And kind of a bit of comic relief. Like, I know there are funny moments. Like, she would just make you laugh, and it's kind of hilarious. But then there's Liz, the older sister, who trying to remind Kid and Patty to take it a little bit seriously. She's what you call the serious type. After all, she is the older big sister of Patty, and Kid is afraid. Isn't afraid to listen to it, but there are some times where it can get out of hand, and not even they can convince Kid what to do. After all, but I also like their style. They are loyal to Kid. After all, the Thompson sisters were by themselves living on the street, basically hustling anybody they want to just to get what they want, just to get money, pass by, live on the street. Kid was impressed by their skills, so he made a deal with them and come work for me. Basically, he offered them a job with them, and because of that, I kind of like that a little bit, because with that this way, like, they have a home and they can do some good. They're just running around the streets being homeless all the time. I like that. There's Death himself. There are times where he can be comic relief, but there are also times where he gets serious in the series. There are some badass moments in the series. Trust me, there are some badass moments where he can't. The same voice that plays Death is also the same voice actor who played Toby from Naruto Shippuden, if you watch Naruto Shippuden too. Like the English voice actor. But then there's his serious voice, the more masculine voice, because he is the Lord of Death himself, and he ain't afraid to be a badass if he wants to. There are 2 times where you do see him as kind of badass, and episode 24, episode 48, like the last 4 episodes, episode 48. He ain't afraid to be a badass. After all, he is the Lord of Death, who's stronger than Death. There are also ways to make them stronger. You see, each weapon they have, like for example, Tsubaki, Soul Eater, and Patty and Liz, they can consume souls of the evildoers, like basically the souls of their enemies, and use their power to get stronger. Because they are evil souls. You see, they have to collect 99 Kishin souls and 1 witch's soul. This way they can make their weapon into a death strike, the most powerful weapon they can. Leave them as their ultimate form that you only get from doing that. But if you screw up, then you're down. Then you have to start at the beginning, back to 99. Meaning you have to collect 99 souls, and that's hard. That means you have to fight 99 more enemies and enemies of a witch. And the witch is a very powerful person, depending on their magic and level. So it's not going to be easy for them. There's going to be you gain power from that. In fact, if you gain some credit for that. If you become a Death Scythe, I mean, Death himself will make you his personal weapon. You become literally the scythe of Grim Reaper himself. You become his weapon of destruction and death that he can use to literally destroy enemies when he wants to. Like, and that makes him probably one of the most powerful beings on the planet. He is kind of, in fact, in Japanese, like they call him Shinigami. I mean, the Japanese version of it is Shinigami. That means Death God, and that's suits him fine. I mean, after all, it is Death Weapon Master Academy that they attend, and he did found the Academy 800 years ago to stop the creation, stop the evil souls, and stop them from making Kishians. However, there are some balances to this world. I mean, after all, Kishin itself means evil soul, and it also means evil god, because you see, a weapon can consume 99 Kishin souls and one wind soul. But if a weapon betrays that art and consumes the souls of humans, then his soul becomes corrupt and spirited and destruct. He becomes overflowed with madness, corruption, and evil that he wants to consume more and more and cause destruction until a Kishin is born from all that madness, and his strength could rival Death himself. And you get to see that in this series. This series is action-packed, strong, creative, and all original. And I said this before. It is on Adult Swim. If you've not seen the series yourself personally, I recommend you see this because it is just action-packed. And it has its action. There are also some comedic moments. It has Excalibur. That's right, I said Excalibur, as in the sword of King Arthur himself. But it's so goofy and ridiculous. It's not worth your time. There are 3 episodes dedicated to him that are so ridiculous. I would skip them in a heartbeat. Trust me. And I'm currently watching the series now, even though I've seen all the episodes already on the internet, online. I'm currently watching the series now. If I give this series a rating, it would be 3.5. Will at least be 3.5 out of 5. But the series is action-packed. The story is original, and everything itself is perfect. I will put the link I will put the link down for both the website and the manga, so you can all see it personally. Thank you. This is Sullivan. I hope you enjoy. Thank you. Thank you for listening to my Reddit video. I hope you enjoyed this. This is Sullivan Adams, signing off.